What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. As y'all may or may not know, sometimes I take requests in terms of things that people want me to talk about. Um, I'm thinking about starting like a an advice page, just to give my angle on certain topics in hopes that, with God's permission, it will help somebody, and lay something heavy on someone's head, like Stevie Wonder would say. But I wanted to hit you with one that I received the other day, and it mainly talking about how we as grown people, grown men and women, deal with growing up from childhood into adulthood without one or possibly both parents. And it could be the father or the mother, depending on the situation, but how do we navigate through that mentally over the course of our life? Now, let me say this before I even start. I cannot speak from that experience because I had both of my parents, and they were both still are very instrumental in my life. So I can't talk like the dude who didn't have mama or the dude that didn't have daddy. All I can try to offer is general, basic principles that may help you deal with that type of situation. And it comes from different ways, and that's the thing we got to kind of focus on, the different ways that it can happen. Some of you may have lost your parent. Parent might have passed away. Mom or dad may have passed away when you were very young and you never knew them. Some people, parents are alive and well, but they just don't have a relationship with them. Some people, parent or parents, uh, just didn't want anything to do with you, ran off, never met them, may have met them. Then you got some that are around, but they not around. They not really helping like they should help. They never really been there for you, but you know exactly who they are, where they are. So before we address that whole thing, we got to deal with the different types of ways that this can can be um, taking place. So, but there's one general principle that remains regardless, and that's the fact that regardless of how your parent wasn't in your life or what parent wasn't in your life, you still have to live your life. That's what you have to understand. It's still up to you to shape and determine how your life is going to be, even in the absence of one or possibly both of your parents. And there's a natural um, void that exists inside of you because a key component to your very existence is not present. So I get that because, like I say, even though I haven't lived through that experience, I know people who have, and I know how they describe it, and I know the different characteristics and mannerisms of those who deal with that. No matter how tough they are, it's not something you get over. And I'm talking about people who have managed to work through it and become productive people in life. There are other people who go the other direction. You know, the lack of one of those parents has an adverse effect on them to where their whole life is jacked up behind it because those little tips and keys and instructions and discipline that wasn't there has caused them to go astray in certain ways. But what I want to tell you, even if you, whatever category that you fit in, you have to challenge yourself to break the cycle. That's the key. You have to challenge yourself to break the cycle Because what happens is a lot of y'all end up having children yourselves. And I've seen a lot of people that say, okay, you know what, that's how my life was, but I'm going to make sure that my child is fully aware of who his mother, who his father is, and they're not going to have to experience that. What you don't get in the process, you don't get the benefit of maybe having your parent to help you in the raising of your child, so you kind of filling it out, doing it on your own. But God will make a way. You just got to be willing to accept the challenge. So then there's the emotional part of it. That's that psychological part of it. Also, that plays on your mental based on the reasons why that parent was not around. Of course, if the parent died, you understand there's nothing you can do about it, and you hope that you have other people in your life, um, grandparents and uncles and aunts that could tell you how that parent was in relation to how they felt about you, and that can make you feel a little better. But if it's a situation where the parent just left you, didn't want anything to do with you, as hard as this might be, you have to try to, as crazy as this might sound, view things from their lens, whatever may have been taking place in their life at that time. Doesn't justify it, doesn't give an excuse, because there are a lot of parents who are going through it and still manage to keep their children, keep their family together and struggle through it and make it through it. But there are different levels to strength in human beings. Everybody's different. Some people can handle something that seems very difficult with ease, and there are other people who just they collapse and fall apart. They can't take it. So try to view life through the lens that they were in at that time. Might have been on drugs real bad. Might have been scared. You might have been what they call an accident. Not in God's eyes, though. And when you understand it like that, yeah, you might have been an accident for the parents. They may not have anticipated you showing up, but you no mistake in the eyes of God. So you have a purpose. So regardless of what the parent may or may not have did or provided, or availability may not have been on point, recognize that you got a purpose and start trying to work to figure out what that purpose is. Um, Another painful part is when you do have children and you've done it the right way, and then the child may say, well, where's my grandmama at? Who's my granddaddy on that side, or whatever the case might be. Um, then that's a hard conversation that you got to have at some point when a child is old enough. And I get that because it's a void. Those are all, well, some of the scenarios that you deal with in these cases. But the key point I'm making is you have to break the cycle. Then you got the last part I'm going to touch on, because it's a bunch. The last part is that you're fully aware who your parent is, but they seem to not want to have anything to do with you. You know where they live, you got their number. They just never reach out to you. They may deal with their other children in better ways than they deal with you. And all you want to know is, what you got against me. What's the issue you have? Why am I not accepted? And that could be a few reasons, man. Could be the relationship they had with the other parent, and it caused some kind of resentment. And these are not excuses, these are reasons. I'm not making excuses for any of that. I just want y'all to be able to process the reasons why, possibly, and get an understanding from their angle. And it might make you go, I see it, I get it. Especially if you live life and kind of dealt with some of that stuff by now. Then you pray that relationship will be mended one day, and just do your part. You can't make a grown person do nothing they don't want to do. But you do your part. Send a text. Leave a voicemail. Buy a gift. And I know this sounds like some little corny stuff, but do what you can do. And if you want that relationship, don't display the resentment towards the person. Display the compassion, the mercy, and then why should I give them compassion? They the one left me. I get all that. But do your part to show the kindness and compassion in hopes that it might make them say, you know what? Because a lot of times parents feel guilty. there's a sense of guilt where they can't even face the child. And they just don't want to deal with it because they feel guilty. They may think you feel a certain way, but if you say, you know what, I don't like what you did, but I'm willing to try to start over, and maybe it can work. And once you've done all those things, if it still doesn't work, hey man, you chalk it up to not being meant to be. It's not gonna feel good. You may never get over it the rest of your life, but you can have some degree of closure that you did everything you could do to heal that relationship, and then go back and double down on making sure that your own children never feel the way that you was feeling. So hope that helps somebody out. It's your big brother K-Rino, man. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.